G'day guys, welcome to our Youth League 1 Men podcast here as we have some elimination finals looking into round one as we have a top six. So Hume and Wyndham, congratulations to those two teams as they progress immediately with the week off here. Now we see Geelong United host Camberwell on the Saturday night as well as Sherbrooke hosting Keysborough. Now a few interesting head-to-heads here because Geelong United, they won early, didn't they? They won early in the season and then had an unfortunate loss quite recently.
Yeah, it was a heavy loss to Campbell as well. So I think they met early days and Marak did most of the damage as Geelong won by 8 points. And then Campbell visiting the next time, but Geelong just had one of those nights where they just couldn't get anything to fall and they went down by 23 points. So we're not really sure what to expect here. We know Campbell can be very, very good, but we also know they've had nights where things just don't seem to work at all for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see what sort of lineups and battles, individual battles we have here. Who's going to match up with Marak or even Jackson Dean from Camberwell.
Yeah, Jackson Dean and Marak going head-to-head athletically would be really, really fun to watch. I also am looking forward to the matchup of Sam Veach against Bailey Bruce.
Yep.
Saw Bailey Bruce a couple of weeks ago against Hume, and he was really impressive. He can shoot the ball pretty well. He's just a smooth mover. He's one who has really sort of grabbed my attention. Hamish Goodyear has had injuries the back end of the year. I wonder whether he's sort of saving himself for finals or not. And then you start throwing the guards like Jay Postorino. Maybe Veach is going to him, or maybe it's more experienced, an older Lockie Earl who goes to shut him down. But certainly some mouth-watering matchups. And you look at centre, Big Jack Terrell against Big Matty Power. That's That's not a bad clash for Youth League 1 men.
No, absolutely not. It's some two seriously physical bodies that are just going to be going at it all night long, which is awesome to see. Now we move on to the Sherbrooke-Keysborough game. You got this insane duo over at the Suns. You got Jacob Beck-Doggett and Dylan Johnson. Now the two of them, they share the load pretty well. One has a good game and one sort of shares and helps.
Yeah.
And vice versa, or they both just have dominant games.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about watching them. They don't seem like selfish players. They just seem to be happy as long as the team's winning. They're happy to see that success. And Burke Doggett sort of obviously the ball's in his hand quite a lot as point guard. He's quite a good shooter more often than not. Whereas Dylan Johnston sort of as that slashing wing, he's been really impressive, and he's sort of taken his game to another level compared to last year.
Yeah,
last year he was that good player. This year is just. He would have to be in All-Star 5 conversations. For mine, it's interesting to see the next cog for Sherbrooke. When they have a bad game, it's generally because one of those two isn't firing and they don't quite have the next level scorer on their team. So if Keysborough can try and slow one of them down, and Jacob Oriam might be one of those matchups just to slow down a Burke Doggett or slow down a Dylan Johnston, then I really think Keysborough could have a good chance of the upset here.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be really interesting, and whether Keysborough have this clash, of whether we see some players jump in and out of this, we're not entirely sure. So we'll honestly have to wait and see and what happens on the Saturday night. But they could have some big ins or not. But Luke Logan, who's been there for most of the season, Tom Carroll has been there for most, and they definitely come and add some really intense pieces. They're guys that just go 100% of the time. They're aggressive. They can shoot the ball. They can get on the ring. They do, little bits and pieces. Nothing's amazing and nothing's, outrageous and to the point where, they shine. But they do their job and they do it with a really, really high level of intensity.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. If I feel like Keysborough, one of those teams. If a couple of shots go on in a row and they get a little bit of momentum, they're off to the races. So it's going to be a really important one for Sherbrooke to just try and stem that momentum and just try and slow them down if they got on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 elimination games here, do or die. Keep it locked. It is finals time.